still gonna keep doing these videos. This is a piece of 3/16 stainless. It is 5/16 of an inch on its outside diameter, and I'm going to start making a stop screw out of this piece. The stop screws are these little guys. They're approximately an inch long. They have a 632 thread, and this is how I make them. The first step is to run a knurl and then to start to cut the part. I've had a couple of questions about how I'm holding tolerances on an older machine like this, and the easiest way is right here. I have a dial indicator set up with a stop, and it's a sterret, and it allows me to hold a length and repeat it over and over and over. So the knurling is pretty simple, and I'm doing this by hand, so bear with me. I don't knurl the entire length. From this point, I'm going to start to establish the actual cuts. So I'll be back in 2 seconds and see if I can piece this together. Okay, this is section 2. It's a 45-degree cutter, and it is set up actually to cut aluminum, but this is 3/16 stainless. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go back toward the headstock 800 thousandths of an inch. And I've got this set up basically at the end, so all I'm doing really is it's zeroed out. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm trying to look through my phone and do this. And the first cut is just an initial cut. So wash my hands. I'm going to try and do this so that you can actually see what I'm seeing. What I'm looking at when it's coming off are these long strings. Those I don't necessarily want to have happen, but they do happen. 3/16 stainless is difficult to machine, and it wants to come off in a long piece. If you're an inexperienced machinist, if you've never done this before, do not reach out and try to grab it and break it off as it's running. You will lose fingers at the very most. You'll take a lot of stitches if not. Just let the machine cut and get out of its way. This initial cut on the part, let's see if I can position that. The initial cut, I'm just relieving the material down to a specific size to establish the shoulder before this knurled section, and then I'll run the threads out on the tail. So I'm going to cut some more of this and see if I can video it. Start to establish the threads. I need a will need a lot more material, so I just start piecing it down from there. So the screw outline is basically, the body is already done. You can still see it's just a straight shaft with knurl. The relief cut up on the top is where it's going to actually get parted off of the bar stock that's in the lathe. And the threading on this, I do not do single point. I use a die because it's a 632 thread. It's really a tight, tiny thread, and the likelihood of it deflecting and not cutting properly is really high. I use 316 stainless for these parts. It's a stop screw because I don't want it to bend. But when you're machining it, it's going to bend a little bit. And it's just much easier and much more exact just to use a die in this case. So I'm going to throw a die on it and cut some threads. Okay, it's got threads at this point. The only thing I left to do is to part it off of the bar stock, and you'll see and hear why it's difficult to cut. Give me 1 second. At any rate, the parts come out and they're within 10 thousandths of one another, all because I'm using dial indicators where I can, and I know the machine. I've owned it for a long time, so I know what it's capable of. I'm just gonna find my part.